May the 9th, 1982, Brands Hatch and competitors assemble for the first round of the Southern Mechanical Handling sponsored Bobcat ASCAR Challenge Series. This is Dave Fox reporting. Over to Jeff Oliver for a quick resume of some of the cars and competitors in this year's challenge.
The first car we see is the ex-Tony Wolff Chevrolet Camaro, now owned and driven by Lee Devlin. From Ruislip comes John Herman with his Chevrolet Camaro. And also from Ruislip with his 67 Camaro, London restaurant owner Dave Bertorelli, who ran this same car in the 1981 ASCAR series. John Fletcher, 1981 champion. This is the 5-litre Traco engined AMC Spirit of John Salisbury.
That's an ex-Group 2 car.
And in another part of the paddock, the Southern Mechanical Handling backed Ford Mustang of Tony Wolff. Here we see Tony talking to ex-ASCAR driver Tom Laffey about some engine problems on the Ford. Yes, Tom in the red pullover.
Because either way,
there's a super shot of the engine of the Boss Mustang.
It'll do the same thing either way.
With too much or too little, yeah, because that's what we did see. We thought we was running too much clearance. Cam turned it where it was picking up in the centre of the piston.
That's not an ASCAR runner, Dave.
Seems to be alright. No, it's not oiling or anything.
Here we see mechanics unloading another Chevrolet Camaro, this one of Ricky Fagan, the Southall body shop owner. Been racing in ASCAR for 3 years now, third in last year's championship. As you can see, that's a really immaculate
yes, that's nicely
car.
prepared, that car. That's the Altered X car.
This is probably the most raced car in the series. This Chevrolet belongs to 1981 champion, the very experienced John Fletcher. And here we see in its special metallic primer finish, the ex-Trans Am Chevy Camaro of Brian Rice. This car has got the potential to be one of the very quickest cars in the Bobcat Challenge Series this year. Fabulous 65 Shelby, unfortunately not going to run in the series this year.
But I think we agree with the sentiment on the bumper.
From Leicester comes ex-hot rod driver Jim Mensley with his Chevrolet Camaro. Jim hoping to go one better in the championship this year. It was a fine second place behind John Fletcher in the 81 series. Here you see his 3 mechanics, been with Jim a long time. Here's mechanic Mark, been seeing too many Dukes of Hazzard films.
Yeehaw!
He unloads the Chevy and that's Jim at the front watching. There's Ricky hoping for some sponsorship. It's quite a nice shot of Dave Bertorelli's Camaro, mechanics putting on the slicks ready for practice. At the top of the paddock we find the Aston Martin Challenge, led by Ray Taft with the immaculate Hydevale Garage prepared car. Just look at the standard of preparation on this car, it wouldn't be out of place at Le Mans. Fantastic shot of the 500 brake horsepower fuel injected Aston engine.
That's a magnificent piece of engineering, that really is superb.
You can see with the 4-wheel disc brakes and the aerodynamic aids that this car is really going to give the Chevys a hard time. It's another good shot of the very good detail work on the Aston. We go on, and from Farnham comes Don Prater with his Aston Martin, another immaculately presented car. Don was in fact destined to become a serious competitor in ASCAR throughout the remainder of 1982.
His car's also prepared at Hyde Vale Garage.
This is the car of Peter Griggs. In fact, this is the only Aston Martin which has raced previously against ASCARs when Peter drove it at the last Mallory Park round of ASCAR in 1981. Last of the Aston quartet, the really fearsome low-line Aston of hard-driving David Ellis. That's David Ellis inside the car doing an adjustment to the ignition system. It gives you some idea of how radically modified the Aston is. There you see Brian Rice. Brian's seen the Astons and he's driving for home. No, it looks like he's changed his mind, Dave. He's gone up to the assembly area instead.
Yes, that's right. He's not given in completely yet. He's going to give him a good run.
Pulling in alongside Jim Mensley, Ricky Fagan on the other side, ready to go. Next to him, Griggs, Herman, the AMC. There's John contemplating his first laps of Brands. Nice shot of David Bertorelli's Camaro, probably the only one you'll ever see with an undamaged spoiler. Someone should tell Lee should be driving on the other side. And in first gear. Whilst the ASCAR runners assemble in the paddock, I'll pass you over to Dave Fox for some comments on the practice period.
Thanks, Jeff. Here we see some of the Astons now in an earlier session. This is Don Prater with the red DBSB8. Ray Taft with the Silver Dream Racer. It's immaculate Aston Martin DBSB8 coming through clearways now. And David Ellis with his fearsome low-line car, unfortunately pulling into the pits here and not to be seen again until the very last ASCAR round at the end of the year. The ASCAR competitors now in the Grand Prix paddock area. And here they come now out into the pit lane. That's John Fletcher leading them out. John Herman, Dave Bertorelli, Lee Devlin, all the Camaros there. Ricky Fagan now with the Autodex car. Comes out to join Q in the pit lane and off out onto the track. The first laps of practice for the first round of the 1982 Bobcat ASCAR Challenge Series. Here they come now, Brian Rice. Tony Wolfe. John Fletcher. John Salisbury. John Herman. Ricky Fagan, Dave Bertorelli, Lee Devlin. Practice well and truly underway now. Peter Griggs with the Aston. The rest of the field streaming through.
With Dave Bertorelli, front spoiler damaged already.
And he's only done a couple of laps. There's a Spirit, having done surely some of its very first laps at Brands Hatch. Brian Rice, Ray Taft, Peter Griggs again.
It's a nice shot of Jim Mensley with the car, which was destined to be in those colours for only one other race.
Yes, there was a fairly smart coloured paint job there. John Herman and Dave Bertorelli. Ooh, just a little bit wide there, John. Mensley going for pole. Two silver machines obviously having something of a tussle here, trying to find out which is the quicker of the two. Going for a battle on the grid there. The AMC sounding good, waving at somebody. Ray Taft practicing demon out braking manoeuvres, probably for the race, who knows. With the Aston yet again. Trying very hard there, John, wasn't he, Jeff?
Yeah, you can see his experience really showing there. He's trying very, very hard with that car. Super shot of Tony Wolff.
Yes, with the immaculate Boss Mustang in the colours of Bobcat. Southern Mechanical Handling. Going well. Ricky Fagan there with the Autodex Camaro, a little bit smoky. And so practice ends with Jim Mensley in the black Camaro in pole position, Ricky Fagan with the Autodex car next to him in second, Ray Taft with the silver Aston, the first of the Astons, in third, and Brian Rice with his silver Camaro in fourth, then the rest of the runners. Let's see how practice went. We'll follow the boys back into the paddock and ask a few questions.
I've got a bit of chain though. Yeah, let's done it. How do you do it?
So I don't think the tyres were warmed up, you know, and just straight into the tyres, that's all. But we'll have it racing this afternoon.
You'll have it ready for this afternoon?
Yeah. Yeah, we've been down and they're letting us race off the back of the grid.
Jolly good.
So we'll get working on it and we'll have it going again.
Why are you racing in ASCAR, Lee?
Why? I was helping Brian and Tony Wolff with their cars, and I do all their bodywork for them. And then Tony smashed this up last year and offered it to me, so I bought it. It was cheap enough. We bought an ordinary engine, done a bit of work on it, spent a little bit of money on it, and I think we're on the track for about £2,000, which has got to be cheap, you know.
If it hadn't have been for your problems, how do you think you would have gone in practice?
I don't know. It's my first time out on a racetrack. Yeah. So they said take it easy. I thought I was taking it easy.
OK, Lee, all the best to you anyway.
OK then. Thanks very much.
David, how did practice go then?
Very well indeed. Apart from rubbing in new tyres and a bit of ground in soft springs, we're very pleased. The car is performing as it should have been. It's reliable and it feels safe, so I'm happy with it. Happy.
And the race?
I'd like to come in about 4th or 5th. confident. That's as far as I can say. You know, I just like to get this one over and then go back and modify a bit further.
Who do you think is going to win?
Who do I think is going to win? I think it's a toss-up between Brian Rice and possibly Ricky Fagan. That's how I see it. with a heavy DB somewhere around.
That's right. Thanks.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
How's practice gone for you?
Not so good, but we know the problems. Hopefully we'll have them solved for the race. Yeah.
And what about the race? What predictions have you got?
Well, we'll be in there trying.
John, best of luck.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. Jim Mensley, why ASCAR?
Well, we come circuit racing basically for fun, and ASCAR is a formula designed for people that want to come racing to enjoy themselves and put on a spectacle that would draw spectators and draw the crowds. We've formerly raced in short circuit racing, which is basically an entertainment sport, and we've come into circuit racing and we've come into the sort of sport that we know, and we've come to join a circus of cars which are travelling the circuits trying to lay something on which forms a good entertainment for the crowds.
How did practice go for you, Jim?
We're not quite sure at the moment. We've had a new engine fitted in which still required a little bit of running in, and we had to take it fairly easy to start with. We haven't yet seen our times. We were gradually speeding up as practice went on, and we pulled off just before the end of practice with a little bit of a noise which we're just investigating, but the car felt good. I'm fairly happy about the race if we can sort out the noise problem.
Prediction for the race?
I don't know, because I haven't seen any of the times. There's one of the new Aston Martins looks as if it should be very, very quick. They've got a lot more rubber on the tyres than we have, and they should by rights be a lot quicker than we are. But I think probably we've got the drivers, and I think both Tony Wolff, Brian Rice, John Fletcher, myself, if the car's going, really any of us could be in with a chance of a win.
Okay. Thanks, Jim. Tony, why ASCAR?
ASCAR because we're in the American car business, we sell them, and we like to promote not only the car but the series as well.
Brian?
I think we're also one of the biggest importers and sellers of American cars. Tony's got a company called Anthony Wolff Motors, I'm Cars International, and so it's part and parcel of the business to advertise our products by racing.
How did practice go for you?
Quite well, I'm quite pleased with the car. It's the first time out since I rebuilt the engine, and it's going okay. A few little problems, but should be right on the race itself.
Brian?
Well, I don't like Brands Hatch. It's not my favourite circuit. After 8 months of being away from Brands, they've changed the surface. I'm not happy with it. It's reasonable for what Brands Hatch is, but I'm not totally happy with it. But I'll do my best.
Okay. A prediction for the race, Tony?
I'll reserve my judgment, I think.
I've never been a prophet. I mean, whenever I've predicted something and was sure and confident of it, it's never taken place. So I think I'll hold back, because it looks like our competitors, the Aston Martin team, seems to be going very well. I think we underestimated them a bit, but they seem to be doing super. So we'll just wait for the race. I'll let you know after the race.
Okay. Best of luck, gents.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. Brian Sheridan, Managing Director of Southern Mechanical Handling. Why are you sponsoring ASCAR this year?
Well, my fellow directors and I are, of course, American sports car enthusiasts, and we saw it as a golden opportunity not only to promote our products, but also to be able to enjoy, from our own point of view, a great series against the Aston Martins, and we think it's absolutely terrific.
What about today's turnout?
Well, the 18-car entry is very impressive. It looks like they're all going to be out there as well. It's not just a case of putting the name down. It looks to be as they're all going to be there, which is absolutely marvellous at this stage. And I think that now that the whole series of ASCAR V8 has got a sponsor in ourselves, hopefully it'll attract even more, making it an even more successful series next season.
And your own car with Tony Wolff driving it?
Well, we're very, very hopeful. I personally am a Ford Mustang enthusiast, and we're very hopeful of getting the results this year that the car really deserves, and let's wait and see, but we're pretty confident, I think.
Prediction for the race from your side, Brian?
Has to be the Mustang.
Jeff Oliver, ASCAR Administrator. Jeff, why ASCAR? Why are you interested?
Well, I'm interested in ASCAR because for a long time I've been interested in American cars, and when we had the opportunity to get involved in racing, we thought ASCAR was a good way to go because it was a different formula. Big cars, exciting cars. We felt that so much of club racing was fairly boring that if we could get a nice big American saloon car formula going, we would recapture some of the excitement that racing had in the mid-60s. We think with the cars that we've got here today, we've proved that we've got a good formula. We're a little bit disappointed with the numbers, but you can see from the quality of the cars that we've got the potential for some good racing later on in the year.
First round today, Jeff. How's practice gone?
Well, practice has gone very well, apart from poor Lee Devlin, who, as you know, went off on the first lap. Our people are a little bit surprised, I think, at the speed of Ray Taft and the Aston Martin. But we're very glad that Ray has gone so well, because we think if an Aston actually manages to beat the Camaros, it will do a lot of good for the series, and hopefully will bring more people to watch ASCAR during the year.
Prediction for today's race, Jeff?
Well, I hope Ricky Fagan is going to win because of my long-term involvement with him. I hope that Tony Wolff wins because of our sponsorship with Bobcat, and I would like the Aston Martin to win because it will give the series a good start.
So it's a dead heat for 3 cars then, is it, Jeff?
I think so, yes, but I think either Ricky Fagan or the Aston will win. I wouldn't like to put them in 1-2 order, but one of those two I think is going to win today.
Hey, Jeff, thank you.
Thanks.
And so to the race. Sadly, Jim Bensley's engine problem turned out to be fairly terminal, so he didn't make the grid. Lee Devlin and his merry band of tin bashers didn't actually finish with their motor cars, so he's not made the grid. And also Dave Ellis with the Aston suffering transmission problems with this freaky car. So off they go now on the pace lap of the very first round, the Bobcat ASCAR Challenge Series for 1982. Coming into clearways now. Mensley's defection from the grid leaving Ricky in pole position. The Aston pulls off. The field begins to speed up a little. Away they go. Ray Taft with the Aston diving for the inside as they cross over the line now. And off into paddock with Ricky Fagan in second and John Fletcher in third. Through paddock now for the first time. It's Taft, Fagan, Rice, Fletcher, Tony Wolff, Mustang, and then Dave Bertorelli and the rest of the field. Coming down the hill now, Ricky Fagan pressurising the Aston fairly hard. Right with him, Brian Rice in third place. A special line. But he's managed to avoid hitting anything, so off he goes. So here we go now, clearways first time around. Taft, Fagan, Rice, Fletcher. Look at that rubber they're laying down there. And Bertorelli in 5th place. Over the line now. Through paddock for the second time. Taft, Fagan, Rice, Fletcher, Bertorelli. The leading group there beginning to draw away a little bit now from the rest of the field. Ricky's car beginning to smoke a little bit there. It looks as though the first two are pulling away now from the rest of the field. Ray Taft extending his lead just a little. Yes, the first two now pulling away from Brian Rice. Dave Bertorelli's going with John Fletcher. Tony Wolff there. Then 2 Astons, the Astons of Don Prater and Peter Griggs. Ricky's car's smoking quite badly. Any ideas what that could be, Jeff?
I think it's probably the old problem of leaking rocker covers. Nothing serious anyway by the way it's going.
Rice more or less on his own in third, and John Fletcher and Dave Bertorelli 4th and 5th. Taft pulling away just a little, not much, but just a little. There's a problem there. Ray's got his hand in the air. The Aston's slowing. Ricky's trying to drive over the top of him. No, he's going to go round the outside. Away he goes. Ray pulls into the pits and out of the race. So handing over the lead there to Ricky. Brian Rice in second. John Fletcher third. Dave Bertorelli 4th. Tony Wolff with the Bobcat Mustang 5th. Prater with the Aston 6th, and Peter Griggs 7th. Ricky now really piling on the pressure, wants to get a lead.
See how hard he's trying there, lots of brake going into Druids. Dave Bertorelli going very well there on his Chevy.
A couple of laps later now, Brian Rice is right with Ricky. He's really having some pressure in this race, Ricky. He pressurised the Aston for the first few laps, and now he's getting some pressure back from Brian Rice. Brian practically all over him. Really pushing him hard. Tony Wolff with the Bobcat Mustang. Through paddock again. Ricky Fagan, Brian Rice. That's David Bertorelli frightening everybody down at paddock.
And himself, I bet.
Brian Rice now really pressurising Ricky. They come into clearways. Closes up under braking. Bounces over a curb. Off onto yet another lap, pressurising really hard. Fletcher in third still. Around paddock bend yet another time. Up the hill. Brian has a go at the inside now as he tries. Yes, he goes there for the inside.
See, Ricky's very quick through paddock.
Ricky fends him off though, into clearways again. Brian catches up quite a lot there on braking. Clouds of smoke from Ricky's Autodex car. Brian laying rubber down there. See the blue smoke? Really trying very, very hard. No, he's off. He's off. Must have tripped up our cameraman as well, but Brian spins away from second place. Sits and thinks about it for a few minutes. But then no, decides to get first gear and off he goes. Dropped down to fourth now behind Dave Bertorelli with his red Camaro. And rejoins just in front of Tony Wolff with the Mustang. So Ricky there, having withstood all sorts of different pressure from everybody. Not the least of which is the oil smoke problem he seems to have there, but carries on to take the checkered flag now for well-deserved and well-driven victory. John Fletcher's second, Dave Bertorelli just about third from a hard catching up Brian Rice, recovering from his spin there. Over the line there, Dave just makes third.
A very good performance from David Bertorelli.
And there's an unlucky Brian Rice. So Ricky Fagan on his lap of honour on a Capri of all things, with Richard and Jerry Sheridan, the wife of Brian Sheridan, Managing Director of Southern Mechanical Handling. Here they are now at the end of their victory lap. And Southern Mechanical Handling showing off one of their Clark equipment Bobcats.
Thank you very much, Paul, for all your help this afternoon in keeping my lap on. Paul,
Very, very, very happy Ricky heads for home.
2 races later, the scene shifted to Snetterton. This Norfolk former airfield was used during World War II by the American 8th Air Force. The home squadron, the 96 Bomb Group, were equipped with American machines no less mighty than the Chevrolet Camaro and Ford Mustang, the mighty Boeing B-17. The July the 4th ASCAR meeting featured the 96 Bomb Group Memorial Trophy in honour of the pilots who used to fly these magnificent machines. A full field of runners was assembled, including Graham Thurmer's Ford Mustang, Roy Yates's Ford Mustang, John Salisbury's AMC Spirit, John Herman with the self-prepared Chevrolet Camaro finished the race in 6th place, John Fletcher's Chevy in 5th, Jim Mensley had an exciting ride to 4th place with a couple of lurid spins at Coram Curve. Tony Wolff gave the Bobcat Mustang one of its best finishes in a 3rd place. Ricky Fagan's Autodex Camaro, a worthy 2nd. And Brian Rice, an excellent winner after a stirring battle with Jim Mensley in the opening laps. Tom Adcock's former USAF jet pilot presents prizes to Happy Brian Rice. July the 25th, Mallory Park and round 5 of the 1982 Bobcat ASCAR Challenge Series. The ex-Roger Penske IROC car, now driven in the series by the series backer, Southern Mechanical Handling's MD Brian Sheridan.
Putting in ballast, throwing in jacket.
Also now running in the colours of Southern Mechanical Handling and Bobcat is the Chevrolet Camaro, Jim Mensley.
All track personnel, please. Track personnel.
Jim, the season so far, how are we doing?
Well, the ASCAR season's going pretty well. We've had 2 wins and we've had a 4th place in the 3 races we've done so far. The 4th place was our last meeting at Snetterton when we had a slight understeer problem which we're hoping is corrected today. But things look well at the moment. We've got pole position for the race and hoping to go out there and finish in that position as well.
I remember the last time we spoke was at Brands Hatch after you'd just done some serious damage to your engine. I notice now the car is in the colours of Clark and Bobcat. How's this been helping your season?
Well, we had 2 engine blow-ups, one in testing and one at Brands Hatch, which cost us a fair amount of money. Southern Mechanical Handling have stepped in and have actually bought the car now, and they're supporting the car and we're running it on their behalf. This has obviously helped us from a financial standpoint, and it's guaranteed that the car will be out at every meeting this year in the colours of Southern Mechanical Handling.
What about the rest of the season, Jim? How do you see the championship going?
Well, the championship seems to have really tightened up now. I noticed the top 5 cars today have all got 2 seconds. Have only got 2 seconds between them. This is something we haven't had before, and it really means that the championship can only get better. It looks a lot more exciting now. We've got 4 or 5 cars here today, any of which could win. I'm on pole position, but next to him is Brian Rice's car, who's a bit quicker in a straight line. He might get to the first corner in front, and if he does, he'll be very difficult to get past.
What about the Aston Martin Challenge?
Well, we haven't seen a lot of it yet. We saw Ray Taft's motor out earlier on in the year, and potentially that car is quicker than the Chevrolets. They're running under slightly different rules to ourselves, and they've got a bit more rubber on the ground, and if they could get out and they could really come out and do some meetings with us, I'm sure that 1 or 2 of the Aston Martins could be quicker than the Chevrolets and give us a real run for our money. At the moment, the problem is getting them here.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. Best of luck for the race. Best of luck for the championship.
Thanks very much indeed.
Tony, 3rd on the grid here at Mallory. How's it going for you so far?
It's going very well. Very pleased with the car. Finally getting to a point of almost got it sorted.
You had 1 or 2 problems in some of the earlier rounds with the car. What has been the basic problem with the Mustang?
Well, our basic problem is initially from a rebuild we had a lot of piston failure, piston seizing up, breaking the rings, which was the main cause of the problem. Changed to a different type of piston, and it seems to be holding together okay now.
So what are your feelings for the race today then?
Quietly optimistic, I think. Sums it up.
And what about the championship then to the end of the year?
5 races to go. I think it's probably a bit more contested with the lead in Jim Mensley, Ricky Fagan, and possibly Brian Rice might be in the frame at the end. But as for myself, who knows?
Brian, 2nd on the grid here today. How do you think it's going to go today?
I think it's going to be a good race. I think what's going to sort the men out of the boys is the hairpin. I think that's where everyone's having problems. It's very slippery and slidey around there. I think that's what's going to decide the race.
Are we going to have another fantastic battle with Mensley like you had at Snetterton a couple of weeks back?
I think so. I think Jim's a very good driver. I'm determined to stay with him, and I think I'll try to stick as close to him, or he'll try to stick as close to me.
What about the rest of the championship? Another few more rounds to go yet. How do you see yourself at the end of the year?
Well, I think it's in the hands of the gods. I think it's luck. If the car holds out, I think I can stay up with the front runners. It's just avoiding a mechanical failure.
Hello, John. Damaged your motor? Don Prater's immaculate Aston making another appearance in ASCAR. And after looking at Brian Powell's Trans Am, we spoke to the man with all the money. Brian Sheridan, Managing Director of Southern Mechanical Handling. How do you think the championship's going so far for you, Southern Mechanical Handling?
Well, we're very pleased that Jimmy Mensley is catching up Ricky Fagan. We think with what we've done that we can hold on to what we've already established, and I think we can win now.
And you, Brian Sheridan, racing driver, this is your second race today. How do you view the championship?
Mere pretender to the throne of such a title. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I think that I could probably collect half a dozen points and at least preserve some of my dignity.
We're beginning to wonder, with the sponsorship of the Mustang, the sponsorship of Menzies Camaro, now you actually bought your own race car. Is it true that Southern Mechanical Handling are going to actually sponsor every car in the challenge, so at least one of their cars actually wins?
Well, I've never been much of a gambler. I think that's probably what it comes down to, and no, I think at 3 cars, I think we probably leave it at that and take a chance.
Because it looks like one of your guys will win, because Menzies looking fairly strong for the championship, yes?
Yeah, most certainly. Brian Rice is catching him up. Power on the straight is where he's doing it. So if necessary, we may have a quick engine transplant in the last 4 laps with mine and his, because my engine's a bit more powerful, just to see us home at the finish.
Jolly good. Best of luck to you, Brian. Best of luck to the team. Marshall's taking cover here as the field sets off on the rolling pace lap behind the 1982 New Look Chevrolet Camaro. In pole position is Jim Menzies with the Southern back Chevrolet Camaro. Next to him, Brian Rice with the Cars International Camaro. In third spot on the grid, John Fletcher, 81 champion with his Camaro, then Tony Wolff with the Bobcat Mustang. Behind them, Ricky Fagan with the Autodex car, John Herman with his Camaro, Don Prater with the sole Aston Martin running in this race, Brian Powell with the Trans Am, Brian Sheridan, John Salisbury running in Lee Devlin's Camaro, and bringing up the rear the 2 Mustangs of Alan Flavin and Graham Thurmond. Field now going down towards Devil's Elbow, gathering speed behind the pace car. Pace car starts its run off. Just watch Jim Menzies now, he's going to anticipate the start slightly. There he goes, he grabs an early lead. Off into Gerrard's now. Just watch Tony Wolff as he dives through to take third place from John Fletcher. And the rest of the field streams through there. Down the back stretch. Into the hairpin, it's Menzies, Rice, Wolff, John Fletcher, Ricky Fagan, Don Prater with the Aston, John Herman, Brian Powell, Brian Sheridan, John Salisbury, Graham Thurmond and Alan Flavin. Over the line at the end of lap 1, just watch Menzies go from Rice, Wolff, Fletcher and Fagan. Really thundering through Gerrards. Mensley again at the hairpin. Rice in second. Then Wolf. Ricky Fagan, John Fletcher, having a superb battle for third place. Mensley really going. Rice in second. Tony Wolf in a splendid third. The battle for third place is really intense now. Ricky Fagan has a go at the Mustang, swings wide. John Fletcher grabs the opportunity to go through on the inside. Going out now into Devil's Elbow. John sees a chance, squeezes through, inches through from the Armco and gets through in now into a fairly solid fourth place. Ricky dropping down to fifth. Mensley now pulling away a little bit from Brian Rice, the battle for third meanwhile. John nearly runs into the Mustang. Ricky climbing all over the back of the car now. Prater's Aston. Sheridan, who's only his second race. Graham Fermal's Mustang. John Salisbury. Jim Mensley now beginning to extend his lead as he goes down the back straight here at this picturesque circuit in Leicestershire. Through the hairpin again. Brian Rice in second place. Battle for third, really exciting now. Alan Flavin in his Mustang joins in the fun, laying down some rubber. Mensley screams on in first place. Jim Mensley carrying on now in first place, lapping Brian Powell's Trans Am. Brian Rice second, and the rest of the field, including Tony Wolf's Mustang in a splendid third place, John Fletcher in fourth, and Ricky Fagan in fifth. That's real racing. But the St John's Ambulance Brigade isn't that impressive. Down the back stretch now, Tony trying to maintain his third place from a hard-charging John Fletcher. Into the hairpin now for the last time. Around through, the Mustang must surely go for a third place. As over the line, Jim Mensley takes the flag. Brian Rice is in second. Don Prater a lap behind with the Aston in sixth place. And Tony Wolf with the Bobcat Mustang, a splendid third. And John Fletcher, a superb fourth. Ricky Fagan in fifth. Congratulations, Jim. Superb race. What was it like out there?
Well, it was really nice. We've worked really hard on the car today. The lads were here very, very early this morning. They've put in a lot of work and they've really got the car handling nicely. We thought we were going to have a lot of trouble early on in the race, but as the race went on, we managed to get away a little bit and just take things a little bit easy towards the end, and it ran a treat.
Pole position, you lived from start to finish. Was there really any pressure from Brian Rice behind you?
First couple of laps, I could see him in my mirror. After 4 or 5, I thought he just started to catch up a bit, and then I started to go away, and I knew that it was a case of getting everything to hold together and finishing the race.
Did you have any problem with any back markers?
No, not at all. The only trouble we had was with the pace car on the first lap. He didn't get off the circuit very quick, and I nearly went into the back of him. It was a case of shall I overtake him on the left or the right. That was the biggest problem of the race.
Okay, Jim, we shall pass on your complaints to Jeff Oliver. Congratulations, superb race. All the best for the championship.
Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
Ricky Fagan, Managing Director of Autodex, donating today's trophy. Wasn't yours though. You didn't win it, Rick. What happened?
Well, what happened to my car, I think it had probably a manifold gasket or too rich, you know, the float level's too high. It's certainly too much fuel in the exhaust system, and various little explosions were happening from time to time in the exhaust system. So I don't really know. We'll have to have a look later on and see, but I think it's too much fuel getting into the exhaust system. Yeah.
Up at the hairpin, your battle with Tony and John Fletcher looked quite exciting. What was it really like up there?
Well, it was a bit hairy, but I had the measure of both of them, in fact, and when the power came back again, I was, you know, reeling them in a bit, but then I lost the power again, and unfortunately, that's the result, you know, number 5. As another happy party of holiday makers wing their way to Torremolinos from the East Midlands Airport, the ASCAR runners gather for round 9 of the ASCAR Championship, 19th of September, Donington Park.
Here we see some work being carried out on an unfortunate practice casualty. BBC TV engineer Tony Lewis with the ex-David Bertorelli Chevy Camaro. Tony spun on the exit from Redgate Corner, hitting the wall on the outside very, very hard. As you can see, he ended up with extensive damage to both the front and rear of the Camaro.
Yeah, all the parts and tyres there, and I had to find the piece of concrete. On the inside? Yeah, that's what I was inside. I wasn't going in any quicker than any other time, any other lap, for some reason. Before I knew it, I was going back. No, I'll try it. That's right, so no, it's only perfectly up to there. It just suddenly got very slippery. Darren, look at that against the wall. Yeah, that red Trans Am was blowing out so much oil. It was suddenly, just that corner suddenly got very slippery.
Really hungry for a win.
Oh, Jeff.
The immaculate 68 Ford Mustang Coupe of Anthony French. Really one of the most superb cars in the ASCAR series this year. This sort of car, it really typifies the cars raced by the factory teams in the Trans Am in America in the late 60s and early 70s. It's a really emotional car, this one, for the true American enthusiast. Really immaculate 289 V8 engine in the 68 Mustang. Buxton racer Roy Yates with his Ford Mustang Mach 1. Seen here talking to Alan Flavin. Alan unfortunately rolled his Mach 1 Mustang at the last Mallory Park round of ASCAR. So although Alan's here, unfortunately the car won't be with us today. Ex-Formula 1 stock car driver Brian Powles with his Trans Am. Here we see a shot of Brian looking for that elusive oil leak which has plagued his last 2 races. Perhaps one of the most significant events of this year's ASCAR series took place off of the track. Here we see Brian Rice when he realises that he won't be able to start round 9 of the series due to problems over his licence. Many hands make light work on the Camaro of Southern's Brian Sheridan. While Brian himself puts in some real practice for his Sunday night TV debut.
last start on the track, John Herman brings his Chevrolet Camaro onto the grid, one of the largest grids of the ASCAR season. Pole position, Ricky Fagan with the Autodex car, next to him Ray Taft with his silver Aston Martin, and the rest of the guys. We are at the end of an exciting pace lap. Yeah, Jeff?
You better believe it.
Through the chicane now. Jeff nearly falling over, the rest of the field climbing over the top of it. So at the end of lap 1 then it's Ricky Fagan with the Autodex Camaro, Ray Taft with the Aston, John Fletcher on the inside there of Jim Mensley as they come through the chicane, Tony Wolff with the Bobcat Mustang, then Brian Sheridan, Don Prater with the Aston, John Herman, Brian Powles with the Trans Am, Salisbury on the inside there, just outbraking the Mustang of Roy Yates, Graham Fermor, bring up the rear, Anthony French's Mustang. Lap 2 now, it's Ray Taft way in the lead. John Fletcher in second, Jim Mensley third, Tony Wolff with the Mustang in fourth, and poor old Ricky cruises into the pits.
It's a real disaster for Ricky because another mechanical problem with the distributor really has effectively robbed him of any championship chances today.
Ray Taft now, lap 3, way in the lead. John Fletcher, second, bouncing over the curb there. Third place, Jim Mensley with the Southern back Camaro, sliding down the field there. Brian Sheridan with the IROC car, Don Prater with the Aston, Brian Powles with a very, very smoky Trans Am, John Herman with his Camaro.
No sign of Tony Wolff with the Boss Mustang.
But a Mustang that does come into view is Tony French's beautiful car there. Ray Taft pulling further and further away. Smithy Bridge, Lancashire racer, John Fletcher in a solid second place. Jim Mensley, third. Brian Sheridan, fourth. Don Prater, fifth. Brian Powles, sixth. John Herman, seventh. Roy Yates with the Mustang.
Oh my God, no! Oh, he made it.
Inches away.
Ah, John Herman, magic line.
It's the second interesting line we've seen from John. Ray Taft, now well on his way to victory. John Fletcher, second place. Jim Mensley in third. Now, Don Prater has moved the Aston past Brian Sheridan with the IROC Camaro. Moved up into fourth place. Ray Taft demonstrating the superiority of braking of the Aston Martin over Roy Yates' Mustang. Maybe Roy was looking in the mirror there. Next up and experiencing the highlight of his ASCAR season was Don Prater with his Aston, out-braking Jim Mensley into the chicane there. Yeah, he's through into third place. Splendid 1-3 for Aston's there. Mensley sliding around all over the place. Sheridan in fourth place. Meanwhile, Ray Taft comes up to lap the Mustang, Tony French, who's decided, I think, yeah, to call it a day now.
Thank goodness after that last lap.
And there's Don Prater, solid third place. Mensley slithering around all over the place in fourth. Sheridan not really wanted to overtake him because of the points position in fourth. John Herman, obviously the smoke screen of Brian Powles has disappeared. Ray Taft now on his winning way, drives over the line to take the flag. Splendid second place, the first of the ASCAR runners, John Fletcher in his Chevy Camaro. Third place, superb day for Aston Martin's Don Prater with his red DBS. Jim Mensley fourth, Brian Sheridan fifth, and John Herman a very worthy sixth place. So, Bonnie Holmes, Ray Taft, mount the Leyland Princess. Ray there celebrating his second victory over the ASCAR runners with his Aston in '82. Ray collects his garland and his prize there from Bonnie, who's the wife of Ken Holmes, the Service Director of Southern Mechanical Handling.
As they go off into the sunset, I think Ray thinks Von is the prize.
And so after the final round at Mallory Park, the ASCAR Championship was decided. In third place is Ricky Fagan in the Autodex Camaro with 55 points. In second place, Brian Rice with his Chevrolet Camaro with 63 points. An overall champion by a mere 1 point, Jim Menzies with the Southern Mechanical Handling backed Chevrolet Camaro in first place. Jim, in his championship year, scored 4 first places and had 4 fastest laps.